Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. I had always prided myself on being an attentive husband. I tried to support my wife, Mia, in everything, from her career aspirations to her love for late-night TV shows. But lately, something had shifted in our dynamic. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but Mia had become increasingly engrossed in her cell phone. It was as if the device held all her attention, and I was left to drift in the background. One afternoon, I returned home early from work, hoping to surprise her. As I entered the house, I noticed her phone lying on the kitchen counter, forgotten. A flicker of curiosity crossed my mind. What could possibly be so captivating? I picked it up, hesitating for just a moment. Trust was the cornerstone of our relationship, but this nagging feeling in my gut urged me to investigate. I opened her social media profiles, scrolling through her posts. Photos of us from happier times flooded my feed, but it was the private messages that caught my attention. I found a conversation between Mia and my brother, Alex. They had exchanged a number of messages, but oddly enough, there were no words, just images. My heart raced as I opened the first one. It was a nude photo of Mia. My breath caught in my throat. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. As I scrolled further, the realization hit me like a punch to the gut. This wasn't just a one-time mistake, it was a pattern. The images continued, each more explicit than the last. But what stunned me even more were the series of notifications for money transfers from Alex to Mia's account. My blood ran cold as I connected the dots. This wasn't just an affair, it was an arrangement, a betrayal woven deep into the fabric of our lives. Why? The word escaped my lips, barely a whisper. I felt sick, the walls closing in around me. I had trusted both of them, my wife, who I loved, and my brother, who I had always looked up to. The anger that bubbled within me was overwhelming. I could barely think straight. How could they do this to me? Just then, the front door creaked open, and Mia walked in, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing in my heart. I quickly put her phone back on the counter and feigned a smile. "Hey, how was your day?" "Oh, busy as usual," she replied, shrugging off her coat. "I missed you." She approached me and gave me a quick kiss on the cheek, but I felt nothing. How could I after what I discovered? As the evening wore on, I watched her laugh and chat, the image of her nakedness flashing through my mind, mixing with the sinister knowledge of her betrayal. I knew I couldn't confront her just yet. No, I needed a plan, a way to make her understand the pain she had caused me. In the following days, I crafted my revenge. I began by gathering evidence, screenshots of conversations, and financial records. I plotted how to reveal her treachery, not just to her but to the world. I would show everyone who Mia truly was. My brother would also face the consequences. He had crossed a line that I couldn't overlook, and for that, he would pay. I spent hours drafting messages, concocting scenarios that would lead to their downfall. Each detail felt satisfying, like a puzzle coming together. I envisioned the shock on their faces when the truth unfolded, when I would no longer be the man left in the shadows but the one standing tall with the truth in my hands. The night before I intended to execute my plan, I lay in bed, restless. The moonlight filtered through the curtains, illuminating Mia's sleeping face. I stared at her, feeling a mixture of hatred and heartbreak. How had we arrived at this point? I wanted to scream, to shake her awake and demand answers, but I held back. Tomorrow would bring everything to light. As I drifted off to sleep, my mind raced with thoughts of revenge, the sweet taste of retribution tantalizingly close. Little did I know, the unfolding of events would change our lives forever, twisting the fabric of our once happy marriage into a chaotic mess of lies and betrayal. In the morning, everything would change. The next morning, I wake up before the sun breaks through the horizon, the events of the previous day still fresh in my mind. My heart races as I prepare for what lies ahead. I can't shake the feeling that today will change everything. I slip out of bed quietly, careful not to wake Mia, who is still sleeping soundly. I grab her phone from the kitchen counter where I left it and scroll through the messages one more time. Each image, each transaction, sends a fresh wave of fury coursing through me. As the sunlight filters into our home, I know it's time to set my plan into motion. I brew a pot of coffee, trying to keep my hands steady. My mind races with thoughts of how to approach Mia. Should I confront her directly? Or should I let the evidence speak for itself? I decide on the latter. I want her to see the betrayal in black and white, and I want her to squirm. Mia stirs awake as I pour the coffee into 2 mugs. "Morning, sleepyhead," I say, forcing a smile that feels more like a grimace. "Morning. What time is it?" she replies, stretching her arms above her head. She looks blissfully unaware of the storm brewing just beneath the surface. "Just after 7. I made coffee. Thought you might like some," I say, handing her a mug. "Thanks, babe," she says, taking a sip. "You're the best." But as she looks at me, I can see a flicker of concern cross her face, as if she can sense that something isn't quite right. "I need to talk to you about something important," I say, my tone serious. The words hang in the air between us, heavy and foreboding. "Sure, what is it?" She sets her coffee down, a hint of anxiety creeping into her voice. I take a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. "I want to show you something." I pull her phone from my pocket and place it on the table, tapping it to wake it up. "Can you unlock it for me?" Her brow furrows in confusion. "Why do you need my phone?" "Just do it, Mia," I say, my voice sharper than I intend. She hesitates but finally hands it to me, her fingers trembling slightly. As I navigate to her social media, I can feel her eyes on me, searching for answers. I pull up the messages with Alex, my brother, and turn the phone toward her. "What's this?" I ask, my voice low and cold. Her eyes widen as she sees the photos and transaction details. I can explain," she stammers, her face paling. "Explain what?" "That you've been sending my brother nude pictures. That he's been paying you." "What the hell, Mia?" I feel the anger rising in my chest, each word dripping with betrayal. "It's not what it looks like," she pleads, her voice rising in desperation. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I just needed some extra money." "Extra money? You needed money from my brother?" I cut her off, incredulous. "What were you thinking?" "I thought it was just harmless fun at first. He offered to help with our bills, and..." "Harmless fun?" I scoff, feeling sick. "How could you possibly think this is harmless? You were cheating on me with my brother, and you thought I wouldn't find out?" Tears well up in her eyes, but I'm done with the tears and the excuses. "You betrayed me, Mia. How long has this been going on? How could you do this?" "Just a few months, I swear. It wasn't supposed to get serious. I never thought it would turn into this," she cries, her voice breaking. "Not serious. You sent him pictures of yourself. You took money from him. Do you even understand how deep this betrayal runs? I thought I could keep it from you." "I was scared," she sobs, now visibly shaking. "Scared of what?" "That I would find out you're a liar and a cheat." I shout, my patience unraveling. "You think I wouldn't have supported you if you had just asked me for help?" "I didn't want to burden you," she retorts, her voice rising in a mix of anger and sadness. "You're always so busy with work. I thought you wouldn't care." I step back, feeling like I'm suffocating. "You thought I wouldn't care? I cared enough to confront you now, didn't I? I cared enough to look into your phone. I should have trusted my gut." Mia collapses into a chair, her hands covering her face. I'm sorry, she whispers. I'm so sorry. I messed up. I take a deep breath, the anger coursing through me. Sorry doesn't cut it, Mia. I can't trust you anymore. What are you going to do? She asks, her voice small. I look at her, seeing the fear in her eyes. I'm going to take some time to think. But you need to understand, this isn't just something I can forget. You've ruined our marriage. As I turn to leave the room, I hear her voice quiver, please don't go. We can fix this. But I keep walking, the weight of her betrayal settling heavily on my shoulders. It's too late for that, Mia. The door slams shut behind me, leaving her cries echoing in my ears. I step outside, the cool air hitting my face. I can't believe this is my life now. I need a plan, something that will not only take revenge but also make her understand the depth of her actions. The betrayal runs deep, and now, it's time for her to face the consequences. I step outside, the door slamming behind me, and the cool morning air hits me like a splash of ice water. I pace in the backyard, my mind racing with the reality of what just unfolded. Mia's cries echo in my ears, but they only fuel the fire of my anger. I can't let this betrayal slide. I need a plan, a strategy that will bring justice not just to Mia, but to Alex as well. I pull out my phone and dial my best friend, Jake. He answers on the first ring. Hey, man. What's up? Can you meet me? I need to talk, I say, my voice low. Sure, where? Just come to the coffee shop on Maple. I'll be there in 20, I reply before hanging up. I drive over, the engine purring beneath me, but my mind is turbulent. I can't shake the image of Mia and Alex together, laughing, sharing secrets that should have been ours. The betrayal festers within me, and I know I need to act. When I arrive, I spot Jake sitting at a table by the window, sipping a coffee. He raises an eyebrow as I approach. You look like you've seen a ghost. What happened? I take a seat and lean in, lowering my voice. It's about Mia. What about her? He asks, concern creeping into his expression. I swallow hard, trying to steady my nerves. I found out she's been cheating on me, with my brother, Alex. Jake's eyes widen in disbelief. Your brother? Are you serious? I nod, my fists clenching on the table. Yeah. They've been sending nude photos to each other and transferring money. It's a whole mess, Jake. I confronted her this morning. Damn. I'm sorry, man. What are you going to do? That's why I called you. I need a plan. I can't just let this go. They both need to understand the consequences of their actions. Jake leans back in his chair, contemplating. What are you thinking? I want to expose them. I need to show everyone what they really are. I can't just let it be some secret between us. I want them to feel the weight of their betrayal. That's bold, he replies, his eyes narrowing. But how? I have some evidence, photos, messages, financial records. I can share them with friends and family, make sure everyone knows the truth, I say, my voice steadying as I talk about my plan. I want Alex to face the humiliation of what he's done, and I want Mia to realize the depth of her betrayal. Sounds like a solid plan, Jake says, a grin creeping onto his face. But you know this could blow up in your face. Are you prepared for that? I lean forward, locking eyes with him. I'm not backing down, Jake. They made their choices. Now it's time for me to make mine. After we discuss the details, I feel a rush of adrenaline. This is it, the moment I reclaim my power. I head home, a newfound determination coursing through my veins. When I walk back into the house, the atmosphere is thick with tension. Mia sits at the table, her eyes red and puffy from crying. I need to pack some things, I say, ignoring her gaze. Where are you going? She asks, her voice trembling. I need space. I can't be around you right now, I reply coldly. Please, don't leave like this. We can work it out, she pleads, desperation etched on her face. There's nothing to work out, Mia. You've made your choices, I say, grabbing my duffel bag from the closet. I shove some clothes and essentials inside, feeling a mix of anger and sorrow. I can't believe it's come to this. As I'm zipping up the bag, my phone buzzes. It's a message from Jake, I've got your back. Let's do this. I feel a surge of gratitude. Thanks, man, I whisper to myself, knowing I'm not alone in this fight. With my bag in hand, I head toward the door. I'll be staying with Jake for a while, I say without turning back. Please don't go. Mia's voice cracks. I love you. I stop, finally looking at her. Love? You don't get to say that after what you did. You destroyed everything we built together. I push the door open and step outside, the weight of her gaze heavy on my back. As I walk to my car, I feel a mix of relief and anger. I'm leaving behind the woman I once loved, but I can't allow myself to be a victim any longer. Once I'm in my car, I drive to Jake's place. He's already waiting for me, a determined look on his face. You ready to take action? I nod, my heart racing with anticipation. Let's do it. We sit down at his kitchen table, my laptop open in front of me. I start pulling up the evidence, each image and message stirring up old wounds. Jake helps me organize everything, his focus unwavering. After a few hours of sorting, I finally feel ready. I take a deep breath, my finger hovering over the send button. Here goes nothing, I say, clicking the button to share the evidence with our close friends and family. As the message spreads, I feel a strange sense of calm wash over me. I know I've taken the first step in reclaiming my life. The fear of what comes next lingers, but I also feel empowered. Mia and Alex will face the consequences of their betrayal, and I'm ready to see how it unfolds. Little do they know, the storm is just beginning. The next few days pass in a blur of chaos. The evidence I shared with friends and family spreads like wildfire, igniting conversations and confrontations I never anticipated. Phone calls flood in, some filled with sympathy, others dripping with disbelief. The betrayal has become a public spectacle, and while I should feel guilty, I don't. I feel empowered. I sit at Jake's kitchen table, scrolling through my phone, watching as Mia and Alex's world crumbles. Messages pour in from people who have chosen sides, and my heart races at the thought of how deeply they're suffering. Mia calls multiple times, but I ignore each one, knowing that I can't be swayed by her pleas. I can't believe you did this, she screams in a voicemail. You're ruining our lives. Each message only reinforces my resolve. This isn't just about me anymore, it's about making sure they both understand the weight of their betrayal. I glance at Jake, who leans back in his chair, a smirk on his face. You ready for the final act? He asks, eyes glinting with excitement. I nod, the adrenaline surging through me. Yeah, I think it's time to put the icing on the cake. That evening, I decide to pay Mia a visit. I know she's likely still at home, reeling from the fallout. I grab my keys, Jake's brow furrowing in concern as I head for the door. You sure you want to do this alone? Yeah. It's time to confront her, face to face. I drive to our house, the familiar surroundings now feeling foreign. I park outside and take a deep breath, gathering my thoughts. As I approach the door, I can feel the weight of my heart pounding in my chest. I knock, and after a moment, Mia answers, her face pale and drawn. What do you want? She snaps, her eyes filled with a mixture of anger and despair. I want to talk, I say, pushing past her into the living room. You need to understand the depth of your actions. Understand? You ruined my life, she shouts, slamming the door behind me. I turn to face her, my voice low and steady. You think this is just about you? You think you can play with people's lives and not face the consequences? I didn't mean for it to go this far, she pleads, her voice cracking. Didn't mean for it to go this far. I echo, anger rising within me. You willingly sent photos to my brother. You betrayed me, Mia. I know. I'm sorry, she cries, but I can see the desperation in her eyes. Please, let's talk about this. We can fix it. I shake my head, my jaw tightening. There's nothing to fix. The damage is done. Just then, my phone buzzes with a message from Jake. I'm outside. Are you ready? I smirk, glancing at Mia. You have no idea how much trouble you're in. I step toward the window, pulling back the curtain slightly. Jake stands by the car, a smug grin on his face as he gestures for me to come outside. Stay right here, I say to Mia, turning away. Where are you going? She calls after me, but I ignore her, stepping out into the cool night air. What's the plan? Jake asks as I approach him. Let's give her a show, I say, my voice laced with determination. We'll let her see the consequences firsthand. Jake nods, and we walk back to the house together. As we enter, I can see Mia pacing nervously, her eyes darting between us. What are you doing? She asks, panic rising in her voice. We're here to make sure you understand the full scope of your betrayal, I say, stepping closer. Betrayal? You're the one ruining everything, she shouts, but the fear is evident in her eyes. I step forward, my voice low and menacing. You brought this on yourself, Mia. You thought you could play games without any repercussions. Jake pulls out his phone, recording the confrontation. Let's make this memorable, he says with a grin. Stop it. You can't do this. Mia screams, her voice breaking. I ignore her cries, my anger boiling over. You wanted to play dirty. Now it's time for you to face the music. In that moment, I realize I don't want just revenge, I want to shatter the facade she's built. I want everyone to see what you've become, a liar, a cheat, someone who only thinks of herself. I turn to Jake, who has been filming the entire exchange. Post it everywhere. Let everyone see what a fraud she is. Mia lunges for my phone, but I step back, laughing coldly. You think you can stop this? You're the one who destroyed any trust we had. Now everyone will know the truth. No. Please, she begs, falling to her knees. You can't do this to me. But I'm done with her pleas. You've made your bed, now lie in it. Jake posts the video, the timestamp glaring on the screen as it begins to circulate. I can't help but smile at the chaos it will create. As Mia cries and begs for forgiveness, I feel a strange sense of satisfaction wash over me. You wanted to ruin my life. Welcome to your own personal hell. The doorbell rings suddenly, and I turn, glancing at Jake. Who could that be? Mia looks terrified, her hands trembling. Please don't let them in. But I stride to the door, opening it to reveal Alex, my brother, looking smug and arrogant. What's going on? I got a call that something was happening here. I turn back to Mia, a grin spreading across my face. Oh, just a little family reunion. Alex steps inside, confusion etched on his face. What's all this about? Before Mia can respond, I point to Jake, who is still recording. Why don't you ask your brother about the messages he's been sending? The color drains from Alex's face as he looks at Mia, who is still on the floor, sobbing. What the hell is going on? Surprise. I say, relishing the moment. Your little affair just became public knowledge. Dude, what did you do? Alex demands, anger flashing in his eyes. I gave everyone a front row seat to your betrayal, I reply, enjoying the chaos I've orchestrated. As the weight of the situation crashes down around us, I realize that this is not just revenge, it's a reckoning. Mia and Alex stare at each other, their expressions a mixture of shock and realization. Wait, you did this? Alex stammers, turning to Mia. You used me. She looks up, tears streaming down her face. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. As the confrontation intensifies, I step back, feeling a sense of closure wash over me. I no longer have to bear the burden of their betrayal alone. Enjoy the fallout, I say coldly, turning to leave. As I walk away, I hear Mia's voice behind me. You'll regret this. You're ruining our lives. I stop, turning back for one last look. No, Mia. You're the one who ruined everything. I'm finally free of you. With that, I step out into the night, the weight of their betrayal finally lifting off my shoulders. I've taken back my life, and now it's time for them to face the consequences of their actions. As I drive away, the chaos behind me feels like a distant echo. I'm ready to move on, ready to reclaim my happiness, and I know I'll never look back.